Alright, so I just got back from seeing The Last Jedi. I actually went and saw the Disaster Artist right after that, but yeah, I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. I've never done anything like this before. This is kind of just off the cuff, real casual shit. So if you guys end up enjoying this, let me know. Maybe I'll do another one. But anyways, so the main point: did I like the movie? Would I see it again? I thought it was pretty good. I think I think it's worth seeing again, but I probably wouldn't go pay and see it in theaters again. Just the thing is, I see a lot of people seem to be really divided over this one. Like they really either fucking love it or hate it. And I really don't see how people could hate it so much. I don't think it's that bad, but I certainly wouldn't say it's like on the level of the original trilogy, which is what some people are saying. Because right now it's got like what a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.4 on IMDb. I don't know. I don't know if it's that good, but it's definitely got a lot going for it. In some respects, I feel like it gets a lot more character and emotion into it than Force Awakens did, but there's just so many fucking highs and lows in it, but not in a good way. Not like it's that emotional roller coaster. I mean, they sort of get that, but it's very crippled by the shitty aspects of it. So, let's see. I mean, I guess the really good parts about it is you've got this there's this constant tension because the entire movie takes place within the course of like a day or maybe a couple of days. As far as I can tell, it takes place like right after uh, Force Awakens leaves off. So you've got that scene where fucking Ray is up there with the lightsaber, and fucking Luke is just like staring out into space doing who knows the fuck what. So we pick up with our Luke and Ray scene right there. Whenever we see what's his name? Finn, he's like just waking up from being injured, so I'm assuming he like just got out of that fight with Kylo Ren. So I guess it picks up right at the end, which kind of doesn't make sense because I don't know. It seems like the First Order, they've just suffered this huge loss. They just lost their fucking Death Star or whatever the hell it was, Death Star 3.0, and yet now they're on the offensive. They're like going right after the rebels, the Resistance. So just as a fucking story thing, I don't get that. And the other, I don't understand how the First Order exists, how they're so powerful, or how the Republic is like. I don't understand how this world is organized. Like, the fucking Empire just lost. They lost their leader, and so then apparently the fucking rebels would have won. This takes place like 20 years after that. So how is this even still a conflict? How did the First Order gain so much power? I don't know if they've ever said why that happened or how that happened. But anyway, so now we have the First Order. They're strong as fuck. Even though they just lost their Death Star, they're on the offensive. They're going right after the rebels. Like, apparently they've got them on the run. And then so we got Poe Dameron. He goes in on a solo mission. And then he's tricking them. And he goes in and he just fucks this shit up. He's badass. He's doing his thing. And unfortunately, they don't. That's pretty much all he gets to do. The rest of the movie is just him, like, sitting, waiting around. Because, like I said, now they're on the run the entire time, which means they're kind of just spending the time sitting in the fucking ship as the First Order is chasing them, the rebels are. So, even though Poe Dameron is fucking awesome, he doesn't really get to do all that much. He spends most of the time just sitting around. I feel like they really should have used him more. Who they do use is fucking Finn, who this movie just made even worse. Because even I mean, like, I want to like him. I really want to like him. He's a likable guy, just with his characterization, and the actor, I think, does a fine job, but the fucking story just bends over backwards to fuck this guy over. I mean, seriously, literally every scene this guy is in, there's another character with him that serves just to fucking undercut him. Like, anytime he has something important to say, the other person's like, oh, but this. Or he's, like, always trying to explain some shit, and the person will be like, oh, no, I know it. And it's like, dude, just let the guy fucking do his thing. Like, Jesus Christ, he's getting fucked so bad. I've seen people say he's like Jar Jar Binks 2.0 almost. And he really kind of is. Like, it's fucking annoying, man. Like, I want to like him, and the story tries to make him feel important sometimes because he's like, oh, yeah, I used to be the janitor on the fucking Death Star or whatever for the First Order, so I know how all their shit is laid out, but it's just like every time he says something, everybody's got to undercut him. It's like everything is just fucking comedy with this guy. Like, I really want to like him. He's like really easygoing, but he's got that whole conflict of, do I really still want to be in this? I'm just trying to outrun the First Order. Like, I know how ruthless they are, and they could really fuck my shit up. But I've got to have that conflict here because I also like Rey a lot. But it's just not. It's just not working. You can't take him seriously with this fucking movie. They really just don't like him. And then that brings us to fucking Rey. Oh my god. Like, I know a lot of people were probably hoping that this would be a movie to fix what they broke with Force Awakens, how she's the fucking Mary Sue. This movie does not fix it at all. In fact, it's probably worse because, okay, first of all, spoilers. Her story goes absolutely nowhere. Her parents, they're fucking nobody. Literally, Kylo Ren is just like, you know who your parents are. They're fucking nobody. They were just some bum fuck farmers in the middle of nowhere, and now they're buried out in the desert. So that's great. So she has absolutely no reason whatsoever to be so fucking strong in the Force. She just is because reasons. And she fucking... So on the scene when she goes to fight, she goes to rescue Kylo Ren because, of course, he can be salvaged, she thinks. They've been talking through the Force because, again, she's so powerful and she's got this connection to Kylo Ren now. So she goes down to the ship to save him. And, of course, there's that whole scene where, like, Snoke thinks he's being... I'll get to Snoke in a minute. He's fucked. But anyways, so yeah, they do that whole thing, and then there's a scene where Kylo Ren and Rey are actually fighting together. And of course, somehow, once again, she's just kicking ass at the fucking most elite royal guards that Snoke's got. Just completely destroying them. There's even a point where fucking Kylo Ren is about to get bested. Like, some dude's got him in a fucking chokehold with a spear or some shit. And so, of course, Rey's got to come and save him. Again, no reason. I mean, okay, so this time she trained with Luke for 5 fucking minutes. Because he didn't want to give her a lesson at first. Then he finally does, and he says, okay, you're too strong with the dark side of the Force. You're too much into that shit. You didn't try to resist it. I'm not going to fucking train you. Then he goes and trains her for a little bit more, but again, it amounts to about 5 minutes of her actually learning shit from Luke directly. And there's like a scene where she's on the island with Luke. She's fucking doing all the lightsaber forms and shit. She has absolutely no way of knowing this, but she just knows it. And there's a part where she gets pissed off at Luke and they start fighting. And then so, like, at first, it's going exactly how you think it would go. She's, like, doing her shit. Luke just gets, like, a piece of fucking wood or something. Like, she's going at him with a staff. Luke picks up, like, just a fucking branch, and he's just, like, waving off her attacks and shit. And then, of course, she decides to pick up a lightsaber. She uses the Force to bring Luke's old lightsaber, and she fucking knocks him on his ass. So, once again, she's just... What are they fucking doing? At this point, I don't think there's any redemption for this character at all. Like, again... I think the actress did fine. I think she is like a likable character, but as far as what the story actually writes her to do, it just makes her too much of a fucking Mary Sue, and she's just annoying. And then on that note, we've got Luke, who is pretty badass in this one. He's kind of like an Obi-Wan, a Yoda in this one. I guess he's kind of both rolled into one, except for he doesn't want to train Rey. He doesn't want to go back because he fucked up with Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. So apparently he was training him for all these years, and then he just felt the dark side in Kylo, so he goes to confront him. Kylo's fucking sleeping in his hut, and then Luke pulls out his lightsaber. Apparently just for a moment he's gonna kill him. And then so Kylo Ren wakes up and sees this, and he just loses his shit, and that's how he goes to the dark side. He gets seduced by Snoke, who turns out to be completely fucking useless. Like, okay, here's the other thing. This movie did a really good job of displaying how powerful the Force is. If someone is, like, really powerful in the Force, you really get that sense that they could be the one to just, like, fucking totally change a battle. Like, I feel like throughout all Star Wars, there's that notion that, yeah, like, one really powerful Jedi, one really powerful Force user could just totally fuck shit up. And you don't really get that much in the original trilogy just because, you know, not budget, but like the limitations of what effects were back then, right? And then so the way they correct it with the prequel trilogies, they go way too fucking far. Like, there's 1,000 lightsabers, or, you know, there's that Coliseum scene where there's like fucking 100 Jedi's fucking shit up in there. It's like there's just too many lightsabers going around. The Force doesn't feel like anything powerful or special now. It's kind of just, it's been cheapened, especially with Yoda. He's doing his shit, fucking flying around and stuff, and then that battle between him and Palpatine, it's just like, there was so much hype built up in the original trilogy about what their power could be that they can never match it once you actually got to see it in the movies. Except for now, I think they kind of do match it. So going back to Snoke, when we see him, Kylo Ren he's brought he's brought Rey into into Snoke's chambers. And so, they have that scene where where Snoke's like, okay, release her and let her come to me. And then Snoke, his cool thing is he's like, okay, I'm not gonna try to turn you. I'm just gonna fucking destroy you. Because that's pretty smart on his part. So anyway, so of course, Rey released from the binders. Now she tries to attack. She tries to attack Snoke. Like she thinks she's gonna do something. Snoke is just like fucking throwing her around. She's completely. She can't do anything. Like, and you really feel the power of the Force. Like that's when someone gets up to that fucking level. That's what it should be like. He's just effortlessly just tossing her around the room and shit. She can't do anything. She tries to reach for the lightsaber with the Force. He's like, no, fuck that. And then of course, they completely waste this guy because he gets killed by fucking Kylo Ren. Like Kylo Ren is about to kill Rey. He's got her on her knees. He's bringing out the lightsaber. He's about to fucking light the shit up. But really, he's using the Force to turn the lightsaber, which is next to Snoke, and he just turns it on and fucking kills Snoke like that. Just he gets cut in half by a fucking lightsaber by the stupidest trick. Like this fucking idiot couldn't see that coming. Killed by his own goddamn apprentice. Just completely wasted. He has, as far as I know, I mean, this could be in like expanded canon and shit that they actually might not have even released yet. But Snoke is absolutely nobody. Like excellent use of the Force, but then they just waste the character by having him not do anything significant after that, or having any character to him rather. He doesn't have any real character to him. I have no idea who he is, where he came from, how he got so powerful in the Force. How did he have this influence over Kylo Ren? I have no idea. And that's kind of, I feel like actually that probably sums up a lot of what I felt about this movie. It had that amazing moment of him using the Force just so perfectly. Finally seeing that realize just how powerful someone is, same way they did with Darth Vader in Rogue One. Having that amazing demonstration of the Force and its power, but then you have it contrasted with the fact that he's just killed off just like that in such a stupid way and with no character to him. So you just have those amazing things being put together. The amazing part and the really shitty part. So in that way, I can see why people could be so divided over, but I'm not. Like I said, I think it's pretty good and it's worth seeing, but it's worth seeing again. But I certainly wouldn't call it up there with the original trilogy. But it's also not shit. It's got a lot of really cool stuff. And speaking of the Force being really fucking amazing, the other thing I would say is that, well, we get Yoda back. We get fucking Puppet Yoda back. That's awesome. He comes back as a Force ghost to talk to Luke. I really didn't know what he was saying. There was a guy in the fucking theater who's making noise a lot of the time. People were just, it was fucking, don't go see movies with people in the theater. It's so goddamn annoying. But just seeing fucking Puppet Yoda back, that was awesome. And he has another amazing moment where it's like, this is what the Force should be. Fucking, he comes down as a Force ghost from the fucking afterlife and just calls down some fucking lightning to light this tree on fire. Luke's saying like, "Oh, I gotta destroy the Jedi now. It's time for it all to end. I gotta burn it." And then he hesitates and he looks back and he sees Yoda, and Yoda's like, "Dude," and he just fucking calls down the lightning and lights that shit on fire. It's so fucking amazing. Like, this is what you can do with that level of power that Yoda has, and he's not even fucking alive anymore. That's amazing. That's what I wanted to see Yoda do all these years. Another thing, the last thing I would say is when the final scene, when fucking Luke finally shows up, like everyone's like, "Oh shit, it's Luke," and he goes over and sees Leia, then he walks out, and he's just faced off against this whole fucking legion of the First Order. Like, they got all their AT-ATs out, they've got the fucking ships flying up there, and then Kylo Ren is like, "Everybody, concentrate all your fucking fire on that man." They just unleash this whole huge fucking this shitstorm on Luke, and he's just like, you just see all this fucking fire and explosions, and the smoke clears, and then you just see Luke standing there completely unscathed, and he's like, and then so fucking finally Kylo Ren goes down there, and he's like, "Okay, I gotta fight this dude one-on-one." And he's like talking, "Oh, you didn't come here to forgive me or anything," and Luke's like, "No, I didn't come for any of that shit, man." It's like he just gives him this look like, "You're fucked. Mark Hamill's fucking awesome. So they fight a little bit, and then Kylo Ren's swinging. Of course, he can lose to fucking Rey, so he stands no chance against Luke. Luke's just fucking completely manhandling him, and he's like, got that classic line, if you strike me down, I'm only going to come back more powerful than ever. And so finally the fight keeps going on for a little bit. Kylo Ren's getting destroyed. And then fucking we find out finally that Luke wasn't there the entire time. He just somehow, he did like a sort of Force ghost, but in real life, like, I don't know how to describe it. But it really wasn't him there. We see him back on the island. He's just like fucking meditating. And he sends out a projection of himself. That was like so fucking powerful that it could fight with Kylo Ren. That was badass. Like, that's the type of cool shit you can do with the Force. You don't have to fucking be flying around and doing all this ridiculous, stupid shit that they had Yoda and Palpatine doing in the prequel trilogy. No, man, this was the way to do it. And again, that was fucking awesome. So yeah, that's the movie. That's the whole movie. A lot of really cool shit juxtaposed against a lot of really stupid shit. But with an overall, I mean, like I said, the story had a lot of tension to it, with it being everything happening so fast. There was some good dramatic moments, but there was just so much shit. And a lot of it was the carryovers from the last movie. Too much not having Snoke developed, having Rey be a fucking Mary Sue, having Finn be an idiot. But yeah, I think it's a pretty decent movie. I think it's worth seeing. If you're a really big fan of Star Wars, you probably will like it. Anyways, that's it.